true. They're on top of a very big tree, and they don't want to show weakness. That's another thing. Basically, Russia wants NATO to commit not to accept Ukraine into its fold because it doesn't want NATO. It already took Poland. It already took all the Eastern Bloc, if you want to call the old Soviet Eastern Bloc. It doesn't want NATO to encroach further into Ukraine. Russia believes this is its sphere of influence. On the other hand, NATO is not necessarily wanting Ukraine in because Ukraine's got a lot of problems with corruption, but it doesn't want to say no to the possibility. So the situation begs of Russia basically moving its troops further back, taking its missiles further back, and the United States and NATO giving some sort of assurance, if it can, that it's not going to automatically accept Ukraine into its fold. And that's the problem right now.
So how do we solve, peacefully the situation with troops, whether they're there for military exercises, as Putin says, or not? It is still, it's intimidating, I imagine, to have all these troops in the border. How do we manage this dialogue?
Well, people are comparing to the Cuban Missile Crisis of the 1960s, when then the Soviet Union wanted to put missiles in Cuba, and the United States said they had to go. And the missiles were there, so they said missiles have to go. And that went right to brinkmanship. People were seriously considered nuclear war, but the sides did back off because the cost was too high. And I imagine here the sides are going to realize the costs are too high. Russia not only will face very serious economic consequences because of this, it's not just going to be oligarchs that are going to lose their pocket money. It's going to be problems for the average Russian in the supermarket, etc. And also, Russia, if it takes Ukraine, is going to face a very serious guerrilla war, a lot of casualties, a quasi-Afghanistan situation. And also, the United States and Europe do not want to spill NATO lives in a war in Russia because Ukraine is inherently corrupt. It's got serious problems. Its government is there, but it's quite unmanageable to a large degree, and they don't want to walk into a situation again like they did in Afghanistan or in other countries, or Vietnam for that matter, where they're trying to prop up a regime.